Hey everybody, Michael44 here, and today, you see the title, it's gross. I don't know why I'm doing it, but I feel like doing it. So, 10 twisted facts about necrophilia. Doing the deed with the dead, aka necrophilia, is the ultimate taboo in our society, perhaps besides pedophilia and incest. In fact, necrophilia is a paraphilia so taboo that it's both fascinating and absolutely horrifying. From ancient cultures like the Egyptians to historical figures charged with necromancy as part of evil rituals, the story of humankind is rife with loving the dead. Our seemingly innate fear of the dead is mysterious enough without trying to comprehend the dark obsession we have with death, especially those who take it too far. Here are 10 facts about the macabre practice of necrophilia. Number 10. It's hardly a mental disorder. According to the American DSM-5 Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders 5th edition, necrophilia doesn't get its own spot as a tried and true mental illness. It belongs to a broader category called paraphilias, which is sexual attraction or practices with people or objects other than genital stimulation between consenting adults. The only reason that necrophilia is on the list is because the dead cannot consent. Aside from that, necrophilia is not all that odd. Psychologically speaking, while most of us recoil in horror at the idea due to the innate human tendency to be afraid of death, a dead person once was a living person, while objects were not. Surprisingly, nailing down exactly what makes necrophilia a mental disorder has proven rather challenging. According to Mark and Kafka in the paper The DSM Diagnostic Criteria for Paraphilia Not Otherwise Specified, there really isn't much new data on necrophilia besides a 1989 study by Rosman and Resnick. In the aforementioned paper by Kafka, he writes, necrophilia could be considered as a fetish variant as the sexualized object of desire is not living, but in my opinion, there are insufficient data to empirically support this change to include necrophilia as a subtype of fetishism. Necrophilia can be accompanied by sadistic acts and sexually motivated murder, certainly not behaviors associated with fetishism as been currently defined. This means that the only reason that necrophilia may be a sexual fetish is because a dead person cannot consent, which is kind of a bizarre hitch to have fall back on you. Back. Number 9. It is a paraphilia. Paraphilia becomes mental disorders when they significantly impact someone's life in a meaningful way. Much like alcohol isn't alcoholism until it becomes a real pain for someone. Paraphilias can either involve objects, e.g. shoes, household appliances, foods, clothing, or acts, examples, exposing oneself to an unwilling party, being whipped, beyond being bound. The list of paraphilias spans the entirety of human history, but paraphilias become mental disorders only when they are recurrent instances occur over a period of at least 6 months and cause significant distress or interfere with important areas of functioning. It is important because not everyone who enjoys a spanking or leather is mentally ill. On the other side of that coin, however, the main factor in necrophilia being a mental disorder is the fact that it's illegal. When most of us think of necrophilia, we think of Ted Bundy. But in that 1989 research on necrophilia, a full 57% of the people studied work in a place that had access to corpse. This raises the big question, are these people truly necrophiliac? Or do they just do it because they can as a result of occupational access? Which do you think comes first? Motive or opportunity? Give your answers in the comments sections below. Number 8. Psychopathia sexualis. although necrophilia was mentioned for the first time by name in 1850 by Belgian, hold on a second, psychiatrist Joseph Bolzlane, Psychopathia Sexualis, 1886 by Richard von Kraft Egbus gives us our first detailed description of necrophilia and seeks to answer the question on mental soundness. In this work, Kraft Ebing said, an abnormal and decidedly perverse sensuality, I don't know how to say that frickin' word, is required to overcome the natural repugnance which man has for a corpse and permit a feeling of pleasure to be experienced with a cadaver. He also went on to say, unfortunately, the majority of the cases reported, the mental condition was not examined, so that the question whether necrophilia is compatible with mental soundness must remain open. Anyone having knowledge of the horrible aberrations of the sexual instinct would not venture, without further consideration, to answer the question in the negative. So if you're a necrophilia, you may be a freak, but that doesn't automatically make you crazy. Number 7. There are 4 types. While necrophilia is gross and disturbing fetish, no matter how you slice it, there are actually different layers to it. Like an onion, that one begins to peel back, exposes its filthy core. According to literature of Rosman and Resnick, there are 4 different types of necrophilias: homicidal necrophilias, so-called regular necrophilias, fantasizers, and pseudo-necrophilias, or pseudo-necrophilia killers. All of them are described with some very telling data. This paints a picture in the opposite direction, that many necrophilias go to the extreme of killing another person to act out their urges. However, we can be somewhat sympathetic to the 21% of necrophilias studied who desired a union with a lost love. I'll be right back. I'm back. Okay. Here we left off here. For example, 68% of necrophilia comes from people who express a desire to be with a partner who cannot reject them in any way. Even more disturbing, 42% of necrophilias had exactly committed homicide to obtain a body with which to act out their desires. This paints a picture in the opposite direction. I already read this, but I'll do it again. That many necrophilias go to the extreme of killing another person to act out their urges. However, we can be somewhat sympathetic to the 21% of necrophilias studied who desire a union with a lost love. That's what I left off on. Strangely, only 15% of individuals who simply have a sexual attraction to dead people, a number you would expect to be higher among a group of people, defied by the fact that they do the deed with the dead. 6. It's a guy thing. Necrophilia is particularly male thing. In the study mentioned earlier, 95% of the necrophilias were men, which means 5% were women. In addition, 100% of the cases of necrophiliac homicide were perpetrated by men. Women were only present to any noticeable degree in regular necrophilia, and 15% of the participants sampled. This may suggest that opportunity comes before motive, rather than people getting into a field which provides them with an opportunity to carry out the necrophilic fantasies. People who end up as a regular necrophilias may tend to be in those careers by chance. This provides them with an opportunity to have sex with the dead. When that opportunity presents itself, they take it. 5. Necrophilic homicide. Necrophilic homicide is what terrifies us the most. The thought of sexual deviants who act out their fantasies on unwilling participants, victims, are killed so that the perpetrators can satisfy their violent urges. On the topic of necrophilia, even Sigmund Freud said, enough of this horror. Necrophilic homicides are the cases which are extremely sensationalized, even though they are rare. These disturbing cases include serial killers and depraved madmen who murder the victim, dispose of the body, and then retrieve the body to either relieve the killing experience or just enjoy sex with it again and again. That's gross. God. Number 4, regular necrophilia. For regular necrophilias, sexual attraction toward or intercourse with corpses is a part of their everyday lives. They are the mortuary assistants and grave diggers like Peter Stuckliff, the Yorkshire Ripper. He was an English serial killer who was employed to dig graves as a youth. Stuckliff eventually graduated to serial murder, killing prostitutes to obtain their corpse and have sex with them. Although the act of committing homicide before having sex with a corpse is considered homicidal necrophilia. Any fantasies that Stuckliff had while working as a gravedigger would have fallen under the classification of regular necrophilia. In fact, necrophilia fantasies are a part of regular necrophilia. For a variety of reasons, these people generally are not satisfied by having sex with live people. Sometimes they just aren't attracted to living people. Other times they're terrified or of rejection. Number 3, pseudonecrophilias. Pseudonecrophilias generally have sex with dead bodies in passing, when a rare moment presents itself at just the right time, and they decide to have sex with a corpse that they have on hand. It happens by chance only. My God, what if your mom dies? No, and you're living with. Oh God, no. What if you're dead? Corpse that they have on hand. This is extremely odd as a well testament to the disturbing flexibility of the human sex drive. Someone who doesn't normally poses any necrophilic tendencies somehow stumbles upon a dead body in their otherwise normal course of life that puts them in the mood. One case of pseudonecrophilia presented in sexual attraction to a corpse. A psychiatric review of necrophilia goes as follows. A 37-year-old single white man went out drinking with his 49-year-old girlfriend. Jesus Christ. 49-year-old girlfriend and you're 37? He had been a heavy drinker since his teen years. On the way home, he shot her through the head by accident. He said he had felt threatened by a passerby who stopped to bother him. While he was engaged in hiding the body, he became sexually excited. He had anal intercourse with the corpse. Yeah, that's just bizarre. It's gross and weird and Number 2, necrophilia in history. Dang it, I missed. History is rife with necrophilic descriptions, art, and literature, as can be imagined by the practices of gambling and their religious obsessions with the afterlife. The ancient Egyptians had a lot to say about necrophilia. In one of their major myths, 3 of their gods partake in a necrophilic tale that sheds light on their belief systems. The story goes that Seth and Osiris were enemies. Seth killed Osiris and cut his corpse into pieces. Then Isis goes all Frankenstein with Osiris' corpse and pieces it back together. That's one problem. Isis can't find Osiris' wiener. So she substitutes another phallic object and attaches it to the corpse. And she had sex with Osiris' body. Of course. The ancient Greeks and Egyptians were close for quite a while after Alexander the Great. Herodotus, an ancient Greek writer, gives this advice to mourners who want the corpse of their friends and family members to remain safe, secure, and chastity. Wives and men of rank are not given to be embalmed immediately after death, nor indeed any of the more beautiful and veiled women. It is not till they have been dead 3 or 4 days that they are carried to the embalmers. This is done to prevent indigenous from being offered them. Herodotus knew it was smart to let a fresh corpse not rot in the sun for a couple of days before handing it over to the embalmers in ancient Egypt. And number 1, modern necrophilia. Modern culture is also filled with references to and artful displays of necrophilia. Heavy metal imagery, particularly in the case of death metal bands such as Cannibal Corpse, often make necrophilia a dominant lyrical theme throughout their discography. I don't listen to death metal, okay? Just letting you know. I listen to heavy metal, but not death metal. The first song on Exmod's 1998 album Gore Metal is a track called Necromaniac. 13 years later, the same band on the album All Guts, No Glory had a song titled Necrotized. The whole subgenre of music is littered with necrophilia themes. Literature, too, has its moments. Edgar Allan Poe hints at necrophilia in the closing of his poem, Annabel Lee. The words, "For the moon never beams without bringing my dreams of the beautiful Annabel Lee. The stars never rise, but I feel the bright eyes of the beautiful Annabel Lee. And so all the night tide I lie down my side of my darling, my life and my bride, in her sepulture there by the sea, in her tomb by the sounding sea." Credit goes to Edgar Allan Poe. I mean, even though I can't pay him the rights because he's dead. Yeah, anyway. Poe left the ending ambiguous. Although it could have been a metaphor, the verse is here to appear to be hinting at necrophilia. One of the most unusual true cases of modern necrophilia is the story of Karl Tanzler, who was born in Germany. Tanzler moved to the United States and was a doctor in Key West, Florida. He loved Maria Eleanor Milagaro de Heroes obsessively and just couldn't let her go. Tanzler had been treating her for tuberculosis. Fortunately, Heroes died from the disease. Unable to stay away from her, Tanzler broke into her tomb, carted her body out of the cemetery on a toy wagon, and took it home. Because it's not a guy anymore. I mean, it's not a girl anymore, so it's an it now. Tanzler used an impressive array of objects, such as wires, to piece the decomposing parts of the corpse together. Chunks of her hair began to fall out due to rotting, but Tanzler managed to carefully make a wig from the hair and keep her looking somewhat normal. By the time he was found out, Hero's body looked more like a mummy than anything else. It was completely pieced together with mostly foreign objects, rags stuffed inside to hold its shape, and wax covering its surface where the skin had decomposed. Apparently, Tanzler created a mummy that he could love and tried to maintain it as best he could. He was caught when locals became suspicious of the fact that he never visited her resting place anymore. Even more bizarre, others spotted him dancing with a large doll. He was brought up on charges of wantonly and miraculously destroying a grave and removing a body without authorization. I want to thank you all for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in my next video. I don't think it'll be this gross. Peace out.